believe what they believe. And it made me think of the Madeleine McCann episode, of the Polish lady who thought she was Madeleine McCann. And it's instead of I am Madeleine McCann, it should have been, am I Madeleine McCann, rather than a statement or a question. So it's about words. Do you still see that and the way things are said and portrayed as the root of everything that you're looking into at the moment?
Yes, and I think that there's different genres of disinformation, I guess. There are people who deliberately spread mistruths because they want to cause harm or because they otherwise benefit from them quite directly. Maybe they are able to make money or grow a following, or they feel powerful and important. Quite a lot of the cases I investigate in the podcast series, and I definitely think it's the case for the first episode with this young woman called Julia who posted that she believed she was Madeleine McCann. Sometimes people behave in a way that's harmful online, but I don't think that was necessarily their intention to cause harm, and they may have benefited in some way. In her case, she actually made some friends and fans, people who now care about her being Julia, not fake Madeleine McCann. I think that it's really important to kind of understand, and certainly studying Russian and living in Russia, I spent a lot of time thinking about the way that governments can deliberately spread disinformation and distort and shape the reality we live in and what we believe and why we believe it. But lots of people can, without malintent, but because of what they're surrounded by or because of their circumstances, believe things that are subsequently harmful or false or not good. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not good. And people often say to me, you must find it. How do you investigate this world? It must be really depressing. But actually, I think not only is it important, but actually I'm frequently reminded that most people are good and they don't mean to hurt people necessarily, or they're able to turn around and say, I'm really sorry I did that, I shouldn't have. And I think that's a good thing. It kind of reminds me that actually most people aren't doing bad stuff on purpose usually.
Mariana, I am worried and concerned for how you're cared for in this hideous world that trolls you, sends you hate. And I know you're not alone, but it's quite extreme. What sort of care are you being given?
So, obviously, because I work at the BBC, I have brilliant editors and teams who I work with and support me, and in some ways I feel, far more fortunate than lots of people who get in touch with me who are sitting at home, in their bedrooms or in their sitting rooms or wherever, and who are, don't have that kind of support and don't really know where to turn. And that's, I think, why I feel a huge purpose and obligation in making sure I investigate their stories and give them a voice, because there isn't a reporter dedicated to covering this in the same way in the UK. One thing I've found during this series, and you'll hear it in the next couple of episodes that are coming out, and you get it to some extent when I'm talking to the various people in the first 3 episodes too, but that when you experience online hate and trolling, and I'm very fortunate to not receive all kinds of other hate, racist hate, homophobic hate, other abuse online. Lots of mine is, good at, that's a good old-fashioned, I think that's the wrong way of describing it, but a lot of mine is, misogyny or really threatening hateful messages. This isn't, criticism we're talking about, it's the really nasty stuff. But when you experience it, you tend to experience it on your own. It's very much, you alone in your feed or the messages you're receiving. And I found it really cathartic and very positive being able to speak to other people who are from all different, whether that's politicians or footballers or people who are not in the public eye at all, about the way they've been affected by hate and trolling. And there are so many similarities in the experiences we all share. And I think right now we've reached a moment where everyone is saying, hang on a second, I don't think this is okay. And so I think really continuing to expose that it's not okay. I as an investigative reporter in the UK shouldn't feel, if you believe in freedom of expression, why would you keep threatening me and sending me hate? That doesn't seem like the kind of thing someone who believes in freedom of expression would do. And so I think it's important to just keep exposing about it and talking about it. I think there's been a little bit of a squeamishness about talking about it, that it might feed the trolls. I actually think it helps to expose and reveal the trolls and understand the trolls, and that's all part of the solution.
Mariana Spring, thank you so much. It's a fascinating listen. The series Why Do You Hate Me is on BBC Sounds, and the book of Mind Trolls is published on the 7th of March. Mariana is with us till 10 o'clock.
time for thank yous now.
Yes, and it's the part of the show where we hand over to you to thank people that you couldn't thank at the time. And today's thank you comes from Andrew Buchanan.
When I was a student in about 1979, I was invited to go to one of my school friends' wedding in Monaco. I couldn't really afford to go, but I managed to save up a week's wages. £121 doesn't sound much these days, but back then it was a small fortune. Anyway, I went to the Dickens Inn in St Catherine's Dock in London to have a drink with some friends, but I left it, the wallet that is, underneath the tabletop that I was sitting at. I realised what I'd done when I got home, and I immediately went back to the inn, but unfortunately it had not been handed in, so I couldn't go to the wedding. Anyway, one day, about a week later, a card came through the letterbox. It was a brown buff card from Tottenham Court Road Police Station.